Okay, guys, so we're on week 3. I believe it's week 3 of our 9 weeks. We're going to focus on slope this week. So finding slope from different representations, graphs, tables, order pairs, real world situations. So first I want to review the types of slope. Okay, so I'm going to draw a slope. Y'all got to tell me what type it is. So here's my first type of slope. What type of slope is that? If you said positive, that is correct. As my x values increase, my y values increase. Second type of slope. Many of y'all probably can guess this one. If that one's positive, then I probably know if my x is increasing and my y is decreasing, then it's gonna be a negative. Okay, those are my two main types of slope. Those are going to be one of your answers most of the time. However, there are two other types of slope. Okay, just read. This is positive slope. This is negative slope. Up there, if you can't read my writing. Now the other two types of slope. Okay, slope 1. It doesn't matter where this line is. It could be above the x-axis, above it or below it. Never mind that line that went off a little bit. It should be a straight horizontal line. How much of a slope does that have? That is a zero slope. Zero slope. If one of my types of slope is a horizontal line, then you know the other one's going to be a vertical line. Okay, so horizontal line is 0. A vertical line is undefined. Okay, so undefined slope. And that has to do a lot with this. If I pick 2 points, okay, if I want to do rise and run, my rise is, there is no rise, right? I can't go up or down, but there is a run. So there's a rise of 0 over 3, because run is 3. 0 divided by 3 is 0. If I look at these 2 points, let's just pick 2 points on this one. There is a rise on this one. It's 3. But is there a run? No. So it'd be 3 over 0. If I put 3 divided by 0 on my calculator, I would get an error. Okay? So that would be undefined. Okay, so let's move on to actually finding slope. Now, first of all, what is slope? Slope describes the steepness of a line. Okay, not the length of a line or the distance between 2 points of a line. The steepness. So how steep it is. Not steep, steeper, less steep. Okay, 2 ways to find the slope other than the slope formula. We'll talk about that down here. But there is change in y. So what's the y changing by over the change in x. Okay, that's one way, and that's from tables. My other way is rise over run. So rise divided by run. Okay, so let's do some examples for table first. Okay, first thing I want to do, here's my directions. Find the constant rate of the x and y values. Write the slope as change of y over change in x. Now the reason why I put these symbols here is because it's a lot shorter than writing the whole thing out. Change in y over change in x. I'd rather write this than all these this longer section right here. Okay, so when I find my slope, that's how I'm going to set up. My slope, which usually is notated as m, is change in y over change in x. Okay, so let's make up a table. Okay, so there's my table. I want to find my change in y first because that's on top. So if I'm trying to find a slope from table, I can start wherever I want to. So I want to start from this 3 to 6 because it seems the easiest. How do I get from 3 to 6? By adding or subtracting. I add 3. So that's my change in y, 3. If I'm doing 3 and 6, then I got to do the corresponding x values. So 1 and 2. So what am I changing by? A plus 1. So my answer is 3. That's my slope. Okay, we'll do another example and you find me the slope. Okay, so I have a table with 6, 8, 9, 12, 12, 16, and 15, 12. 15, 20. Find me the slope. And you can leave it in fraction form. Okay, so if you got the change in 16 to 20 is plus 4, and if you did 8 and 12, still plus 4. And 12 to 15 plus 3. So you got change in 4 over change in x, which is 3. It's 4 over 3. There's your slope. I'm going to give y'all one more problem to try. Find me the slope. Okay, let's move on to finding slope from a graph. Okay, first thing you want to do is choose 2 points. 2 points on the line. Sometimes they'll give you them, sometimes they won't. I'm going to choose, let's say, I'm going to choose this right here. These 2 points because they fall right on the line and they fall kind of on integers. So I don't have to deal with fractions. That's what I'm kind of looking for. Okay, so choose 2 points. Then I'm going to count the rise. So how far from one point to the other. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3. So this right here, I'm going up 3. And I can tell already what type of slope is that. Okay, so it's plus 3. And then the run. So I count how far do I run now. I went up 3, but how far over? That's plus 1. Okay, so I got my rise and my run. So rise and run. And that's how I write my slope. Rise over run. Okay, so let's write it. My rise is 3. My run is 1. So my slope is 3 over 1 is 3. Okay, now I'm going to give you one for you to try. Okay, now let's try a second example. Okay, so now let's find the slope from an equation. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is solve the equation for y. So that means it has to be in y equals form. Okay, slope is the rate of change. Therefore, it is next to the variable x. So it's the number by the x. And if they're using different variables, that's fine. It's usually going to be the number by the variable, and then your y-intercept is by itself. Okay, the slope is the coefficient. Yeah, these are some terms y'all have to remember. Coefficient is by your variable. Okay, so let's practice. I'm going to do one first for you. So let's say I had y equals 1/2 x plus 4. would be my slope. My slope would be, first of all, I check, is it in y equals form? Yep, the y is by itself. My rate of change is by the variable x. What number is by the x? 1/2. So my slope is 1/2. Okay, so you try the next one. Okay, what is the slope in the equation y equals negative 3x minus 2? Negative 3. Let's try another one. What is the slope in the equation y equals 16x plus 10? The answer is 16, or if you got 16 over 1, that's fine too. One more. Let's try this one. Find me the slope. Remember, it has to be in y equals form. So you might have to move some numbers around using inverse operations. Got 3.2. Good job. Kind of obvious what the slope is right by the x. However, it's not a y equals form, so I would probably want to move this plus 1 over, which would become a negative 1 or minus 1. Okay, let's move on to finding slope from 2 points. Okay, so finding the slope from 2 points. I added this slope formula. So if you remember that from your formula chart, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, first thing I want to do is label the x and y's. Okay, so I'm going to label them so I know which ones to use. This is my x1, y1. This is my x2, y2. Okay. Next thing I want to do is find the change of y and the change of x by subtracting. Okay, so next thing, write the slope as change in y over change in x. So that's why it's written like this, change in y's over change in x. Or change of x. Okay, so pretty much all this is telling you is to use the formula. So I'm going to use it. So I got y2, negative 4, minus y1, which is negative 4. Make sure I'm, oh my bad. Negative 4 minus y1, which is 7. So that's 7. And I got x2, negative 6, minus x1, negative 4. And now I just solved. Negative 4 minus 7 is negative 11. Negative 6 minus negative 4. Remember, if we got two negatives, a minus and a negative, it turns to a positive. So it's really negative 6 plus 4, which is negative 2. Okay, if I get two negatives when I subtract, a negative divided by a negative is a positive, so this really turns into a positive leg over 2. And there's my slope. Okay, I'm going to give you 2 problems to solve. Okay, there's your 2 problems. Solving a find me a slope of 3, 0, negative 11, negative 15, and number 3 is 3, negative 20, 5, comma 8. So find me the 2 slopes from those 2 sets of ordered pairs, and we'll be done for this lesson. Okay guys, so both assignments for this week are over slope. So if you're not too sure about this one, you'll get extra practice with looking at the PowerPoint or the Google Slides notes, and then doing the quizzes. Okay, y'all have a good day. If you have any questions, send me a message on Google Classroom, and I'll see y'all later.